And now a Mexico moment with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It's another Mexico moment with Nate and Alexis. I am Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And this is episode number 12.
Ooh, nice.
What is that, like 3 months, 4 months? 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
We're killing it.
Nice, yeah. Time flies.
And you're having fun.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of having fun, this weekend.
So much fun.
Yeah. No, it was actually.
It was,
Yeah,
it was.
We did a lot.
Tons of fun.
My family from Florida was in town, so it's basically my cousins. It's like a weird dynamic. So it's like my cousin is 50s, right? So he's a little older than me.
Yeah.
But then his kids are like our age. They're like in their late 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So like I kind of grew up with them, like hanging out with them, Christmases, different things. And then also living in Florida, they're from like kind of the west coast of Florida, or that's where they live. So I call them my cousins, but technically Scott is my cousin who's in his 50s, and then their kids are, we always talk about this with our family. So what would you think their relation to us is? Or do you know?
Well, I've always looked at them as this is your Uncle Scott and Aunt Bobby. He just turned 60, so, like they're aunt and uncle age.
Yeah.
And then your younger cousins are like our age, so like you said, so they're cousins.
Yeah,
That's
so
how it looks at.
Yeah, so technically your cousin, if I'm getting this right, your cousin's kids are your first cousins once removed.
Wow.
They're not your second cousin. I think your second cousin is like, it's somebody else. It's like your mom's cousin's kids or something like that, or like your parents' cousin's children.
Gotcha.
Something like that. But yeah, so we just call them yeah. So just to explain, when I say my cousins, we're just saying they're all my cousins.
I feel like every time we see them too, we go through this and we're just like, you know what? They're cousins.
Yeah.
They're family. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
The fam was here.
Yeah. So they were in town from Florida, visiting us, and my cousin Dustin, he's been here a bunch. Like he's came to visit when we've been here, before we've been here and stuff. So he knows the area and everything. So when they first get here, they come to our place and then we open the door and they're like, "What's that?"
Yeah, they're just as party animal as the Hansons are, the Halversons.
Yes,
are.
yeah, they are.
They like to have a good time.
They're the party animal side of the fam.
Yes.
And so yeah, they probably had some drinks on the plane, and then also
long car ride.
Yeah, the car ride and everything. So they were ready to go.
Yep.
And we took them to one of our favorite places, Chela de Playa.
Yeah, we
which
love it.
is the brewery here in town we've talked about before.
Love the beer, love the food. They love Tiger, so it's a win-win all around.
Yeah, so we took them there. We got some beers, got some food, and this torta that you can order comes with this sauce. And
Torta wannabe.
Yeah,
my favorite.
Yeah, it's so
Did
good.
I say it right? Yeah, torta wannabe.
Yeah.
I always say it backwards.
Oh yeah, wannabe torta.
Yeah. But it's so good.
Yeah. And it comes with this sauce, and it kind of looks like ketchup.
Yeah, like an A1 kind of.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like real fucking spicy.
It's so good.
Yeah, so you just dip like a little bit in there. And that's like one of the that's what we should do. We should do a segment on like rules to moving or living in Mexico. Like one of them is, or even just visiting Mexico, one of the rules is do not put stuff on your taco or any kind of food here, salsa wise. Don't put the salsa on if you haven't tried it first, because you will ruin your food.
Always test the sauce. Get a little pinky or your little utensil,
Dip.
You got to try it, because the way we grow up, the coloring of hot sauces do not apply here at every restaurant. They're all different.
And I think we've mentioned it before, but yeah, usually hot sauces you go by like a stoplight situation.
Yeah.
Green and is mild.
Yeah,
Yellow might be a little
very.
spicier, but red is like picante. It's hot.
And
Yeah.
then usually like the chunkier you see seeds or something, you're like, that's really hot. Muy caliente.
Yeah. So that's not the case here. It could be anything. Like green can be super fucking spicy.
Sometimes they'll put like a white mayonnaise sauce. They're like, oh, that's the spiciest. We're like, really? It looks like mayonnaise.
Yeah. And my cousins, Dustin and Preston, and those are the ones that are our age in like their 30s.
They're brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers. They're just like, they're characters.
They're besties.
And they like to poke at each other and give each other a hard time. So my cousin Preston dared my cousin Dustin to chug the hot sauce. And it's just in one of those little ramekins. So it wasn't a ton of it.
It was good amount.
Yeah, but I just mean it's not like it's a bottle or anything.
Yeah.
It's in like a little amount.
I was at the end of that table and they were arguing about something, and then it led to it was going back and forth,
Yep.
and then money got thrown on the table and the sauce.
Yeah. Next thing we know, $100 on the table. Do it. Fucking do it, bro. Do it.
There was no question in his mind. I'm going to do it, but he needed to like clarify the stipulations or something.
Yeah. He's like, dude, I'm fucking doing it.
Like, please don't do it. Please don't do
Yeah,
it.
we're all like, nah, you should do it.
No.
He's like, I'm fucking doing it.
No.
Chugs it, and he's like sitting there, and he's like, oh, get a little spicy. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. That was a mistake. I made a mistake. Oh my God, my mouth is on fire.
We just watched the levels. Like, it was a cartoon. Like, he just went from like normal to hot to red to like, he looked like a cherry tomato by the end of it. He's like Dumb and Dumber, like pouring every kind of other sauce or water liquid in his mouth. Like, he couldn't make it go away.
And he's like, oh, the waiter came over also. And he said, what's going on? And he's like, you need something to drink or whatever. And he was like telling him he chugged the hot sauce, and he goes, oh, bad idea.
We're all like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it was a bad idea because he has his head shaved, so you just see the glistening of the sweat starting to come on his head.
The nice server too, he was like, let me get you some ice. Ice will help. He's like, don't drink water. The beer isn't gonna help. You need like ice cubes or ice chips.
Was it? I thought he had like some trait. It wasn't milk, because I know a lot of people will drink milk.
Yeah, he didn't even bring that up.
But yeah, was it ice? I thought it was something else. He was like, it's a Mexican trick or whatever. But
I thought he just brought him a cup of ice cubes. Maybe there was something on him.
Maybe. Was there like tahini? Oh no, that wasn't it. There was like some kind of spice or something. Maybe. It wasn't tahini. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. I was
laughing so hard I couldn't even focus on what was going on.
Yeah. Oh man, it was
Poor
rough.
guy.
Yeah. So I feel, and then I felt bad for Preston because I was like, you got to sleep with this guy, and he's gonna be up all night with a burning butthole.
You lost $100, and now you're with your brother in close quarters with a very upset tummy, and then he has to deal with that the whole rest of the trip. They just got here.
Yeah,
this
first
was
day.
Night one. They weren't even here for 24 hours.
And because day two was getting up at 6 a.m. to go deep sea fishing. Or is it sport fishing? I don't know. Like, I'm not a huge fish guy or fishing guy, so I don't know what the difference is. I always just say deep sea fishing, but I think they called it sport fishing.
I feel like if you're an active fisher, like maybe you'd say, oh, it's sport fishing.
Yeah,
but we know it is like deep sea fishing.
I don't want to call it deep sea fishing and have somebody like, that's not deep sea. Deep sea fishing is when you go 500 meters and deep or something like that.
Well, we were pretty deep.
Oh yeah.
Where we
we were out, but we weren't in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. And like, I know in Florida, like the intercoastal waterways, they say deep sea fishing. So I don't know.
Yeah. So we went out fishing on this little excursion. We got on this little panga boat. And
it was cute.
Yeah, it was like 5 of us, and we bought so much beer the night before. We got like 6 12-packs of beer.
We brought our own cooler.
Yeah, brought our own cooler. And they usually, like, if you go on these excursion things, they usually have some snacks, drink, like sodas, and then also a couple beers, a little bit of
have like a big
fruit.
Cooler with stuff.
Yeah. No, we brought our own. We brought like fucking 50 beers or however much it was. No, I guess it would have been like 70 or something.
They saw us rolling up with our own cooler. They're like, all right, these people know what's up.
Yeah, so it was a really fun time. The first I think Dustin was the first one to get a bite, and he caught a wahoo.
Wahoo, yeah. I didn't know what a wahoo looked like. I've heard of it.
It kind of looked like barracuda, actually.
Yeah, it was like kind of striped and pointy.
Mm-hmm, yeah. But they all seem super excited, at least the Fisher guys did.
Oh, they were Carlos and
Carlos?
I
didn't even remember Carlos.
I can't remember.
Victor.
Yeah, it was like Carlos and Victor were like so excited. They were the nicest guys. We didn't really know what was going to happen on this boat because it was small.
Yeah.
But we had a great
and we were
time
there
with them.
for 6 hours.
For 6 hours with these guys, and thank God they were like very fun and personable and spoke like a little bit of English, but super Spanish. They were hilarious.
Yeah, and then I caught a fish. I caught mahi mahi.
Good job, babe.
Which I didn't realize how ugly they are. They have like a 5 head.
They
like,
do.
Their forehead is so big. I was
and
like,
they're
what the
like
fuck?
bright green and yellow. It was really creepy. We were like, throw it back.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh no! The creepiest part was after I'd reeled it in, and he what do you call it? He like shanked it with the little thing.
Yeah, like the little hook.
Yeah. So he grabs it, pulls it in the boat, and I'm like, oh, it's still alive. How are we like ending this or whatever? And he just takes a knife out and just stabs it directly through its fucking head. And I was like, oh,
No, but what did he do first?
no,
that was first.
That was
Okay.
first, and then it was still moving around. So he like grabbed it and put his finger in its eye socket. I'm like, oh my god, I might not be cut out for fishing because
No.
that was a little gruesome.
You and I were traumatized. It was early. We were like, "Ooh, okay."
But it was still alive. And when I was holding it to take a picture, it was still kind of moving. I'm like, is this thing gonna like at some YouTube video like smack me in the face and jump back in the water or something?
I thought it was gonna bite your finger or
Yeah.
something. It had like little beady teeth. It was extreme. So
Yeah.
now I'm traumatized from that.
Yep. And so then we took a little break, and there's a little reef kind of out off the coast of Playa del Carmen, just like north of us, smaller reef. It was, so we went snorkeling there,
Yeah.
took a little break, and while
Beautiful
we did that, Carlos and Victor made ceviche out of the mahi,
Yep.
like right on the boat.
Bobby and I watched him chopping it up, cilantro, fresh veggies and fruits, and chopping up the fish and throwing the pieces in the water and like all it was fun.
Yeah, but this reef we were snorkeling on was beautiful because not a lot of people go there because it's usually a fishing area.
Yeah.
Oh man, saw so much cool shit. Saw some rockfish, saw some pufferfish. Can't think what else was there.
I think you saw like a blue tang.
Oh yeah,
or
some
something.
tang or something like that. Some blue pootie tang.
No, that's what Dory is on Nemo.
Oh yeah,
Blue
yeah.
tang.
Yeah, so but it was really nice. So, and then when we get back, we're done. After the 6 hours, we come back to shore, and we're like, all right, well, how are we taking this home? Like
Yeah.
my cousins wanted to cook this thing, and they thought they were going to take it to our place. I'm like, we live in a studio apartment, and we have like,
Oh yeah.
what are these little kitchens called?
Just a little like a range, not a range.
Like a
oven.
kitchenette type of thing, like you'd have in a hotel room.
Yeah, like a hot plate
Yeah,
type of
we
top.
don't even have a fucking oven.
No,
And
they're like, we're coming back to your house and we're grilling and we're gonna have a barbecue. We're like, we don't have a grill. We barely have a stove. We don't have an oven. Are you kidding me?
and so yeah,
We know usually like the fishermen like prep it and then you take the meat.
yeah,
right?
they usually like clean it right there, and then you take the meat, or they probably honestly a lot of people that do this if they're just here on vacation and they're
Yeah.
staying in a hotel, they probably just give it to them. They're just
Right.
doing they just want to do the fishing activity, but they can't take it home or anything.
We did that one with your buddy Tom in Tulum. They filleted it all up for us and prepped it,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
took it home and.
But we didn't go fishing. We bought that off of a fisherman that was just driving by.
True,
We
true.
just literally waved him down, and then his fresh fish he just caught, he cleaned it for us
That was fun.
for a charge or whatever.
Yeah.
But when we get back, we're like, no, we want to take this. Like
Yeah,
we want to eat it.
Yep.
So
Where do we take it? What do we do?
they started to try it. They cut it into like steaks a little bit.
Yeah.
But he said his knife wasn't big. The one that he had wasn't big enough to cut the wahoo. So he just kind of cut like some slices in it,
yeah.
and then gave us the whole fucking fish. So luckily my cousins are like huge fishermen. Like they're from
Yeah.
Florida. They live on the water. They have boats. They fish. Like they're experienced fishermen. And my cousin Dustin just throws it over his shoulder, and we just go walking into town.
Ugh.
And there's this really good seafood place that we've actually never eaten at.
Yeah.
At the end of our street called El Pirata. And they
So good.
yeah, they get fresh fish every day from these fishermen, and it's cash only, and it's supposedly really good. We've never eaten there.
Super local. Everyone knows them and loves them. And they're like, oh, if you want good seafood or ceviche, you go there. That's where you go.
So we're
that's
walking
where
down we're walking down the street with this fish, and different restaurants are coming out to us and asking us if they can, come in. They're giving us different deals and stuff like that. So I think what we did was we went to this El Pirata place, and we made a deal. I think that it was like they could keep like half of it and sell it on their menu, and then they would prepare the other half for us, and then we each just had to pay like $10 a person for them to fillet it, cook it. I think they fried some of it.
Yeah, it was so good. They like that idea better than originally. We were just like, can you cook all this for us? And then we proposed that, and they were like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so they cooked it all up, and damn, was it delicious.
It was so good. The grilled, the fried, whatever they did, the sides, it was amazing and cheap. Everything was so cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
And while we were there, there's there's this little boy that lives around. I don't know if he lives around our neighborhood, but comes around our neighborhood into the different to the restaurants and stuff, and he sells little bracelets, and he's so cute. His name is Brian, so traditional Spanish name.
We've met Brian before at one of the breweries, and I think actually Nikki D met Brian. She bought a bracelet off him. That was him.
Yeah, you're right.
He always finds us.
But he's so cute. We usually try not to give money to the little kids begging because you're not supposed to, because they're supposed to be in school, and the parents have kind of figured out they can make money off of them and stuff. Yeah. But this kid, his pitch is just so good. He starts it off and he says, "Español or Inglés?"
Oh,
and
right there, you got me.
Yeah. And so, if you say English, then he goes, "Hello, my name is Brian. I am selling bracelets for my family." But he has I don't think he speaks English. I think he just has this thing memorized.
He does.
Yeah. And I don't know, is his name really Brian, or is that just like the tech support guys? His name is Mabushku, and then he goes by like Chad or something.
Chad, yeah. I swear he told us his name before, and I don't think it was Brian, because we would have remembered that and been like, Brian, are you sure? Nice kid. I've seen him play guitar and stuff. He's obviously like a talented little kid around here.
And by kid, we mean he's like 7.
Yeah.
Like he's not like a 14-year-old playing the guitar.
No.
Yeah,
he's just walking up to tables with bracelets. Like, hey, we're like, who makes these bracelets? Mi madre. And we were like, oh my gosh. So yeah.
So fish was really good. It was, and I know it sounds so like, I probably sound super yuppity, but it was just like, it was cool to like catch your own food.
Yeah, no, it was totally cool. Like, it was great to see it from start to finish, like the process. And we see these guys out here fishing every day. Like if we go to the beach or just for a walk, you see them out there doing this, pulling fish, bringing them back every single day, chopping them up, selling them locally. It's just always out there.
Yeah. So that was first day 1.
What about Brian?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we gave him the fish. We gave him the rest of the fish that we didn't eat. So. Sorry, I forgot why I was bringing him up. But
he was so happy.
He was so happy. We just loaded him up with a bunch of fried wahoo. And he looked.
Your cousin actually like hollered at him like, "Hey, you want the rest of this fish?" And he was just like, "Oh," like seemed nervous. And we were all like, "Yes, take it." We were so full and we had so much left. Like, of course, we wrapped it all up for him. Yeah. And the servers there were kind of like, okay, like, is he bugging you? We're like, no, we love him. We want him to have this. We bought a little container for like 10 pesos and sent him home. He was so happy. His family was probably super pumped.
So that was the first day. And I think we didn't even eat dinner that night. We were so tired. We all just went home and went to the bed at like 3:00.
Yeah, because that lunch, by the time we got done, it was like 3:00.
You're right. Yeah. So the next day we had plans. We got up early and went to Shalha, which is I've talked about before. It's one of the eco parks. This is the snorkeling one where it's all inclusive, unlimited buffets, snorkeling, zip lining, water slides, open bar, of course. So we get there and they don't start open bar till like 10:30, and I think we got there around 9. So we ate breakfast at the buffet, and then we brought some joints too. So we
got a lot of things.
Yeah, so we rode bikes up to the beginning of the river, where it's like you go through these mangroves and stuff when you're snorkeling, and it's like a cenote is feeding it, so it's like fresh water. So we have to either take the tram or bike up to the beginning of the river, and we decided to bike and smoke a joint in the way.
Yeah, because they're so cute. They're like beach cruisers, and you're just like cruising through this windy paved path through the jungle of this snorkel park. So you're like in the jungle, you see animals. It's awesome.
Oh yeah,
in a nice little remote place to take a little smoky.
So we did that and then snorkeled down, floated down, did some cliff jumping, and we did one of those rope things where you like, it's like a tightrope walk thing, but you're holding on the top also.
Yeah.
And
I can't do that.
We're trying to like knock these other people over, and then they got real mad at us and they were trying to knock us off the thing. It was weird. And then we get back to the kind of the main snorkel area where the open bar is. So we're getting, double 2 beers each, double fist in it. And they were like, I found this out the hard way. Not a good idea to do hard liquor. Don't do a bunch of shots or anything. We've been there too many times and got real fucked up because you're like, oh, open bar. Let's try everything we can. Then you feel like shit the next day.
And you got to take into account, you're doing stuff all day in the sun.
Right.
So you're like sweating it out all day long.
So we kind of toned it down and said 1 shot. We'll drink beers or whatever else you want, maybe a Paloma here and there, but we're just going to do like 1 shot of tequila. Yeah. Because it's Mexico. People are, you come in town to Mexico, you want to try some tequila.
Yeah, everybody wants a shot of tequila.
So we all got double mezcals. And if you don't know, mezcal is actually, I learned this and maybe when we're vacationing here. So tequila is actually a type of mezcal, just how like scotch and bourbon are a type of whiskey. It's like underneath it. So mezcal is a liquor made from any agave plant, and tequila is specifically made from blue agave. So that's, I guess, the difference. But I like mezcal better because a lot of times it's smoky. It's almost like a whiskey where it has this kind of smoky flavor, and it's not that tequila flavor that maybe you threw up on in college.
Oh, God. I don't care for either anymore. I don't like the smoky. I don't like the regular.
So we got these doubles, and we went to do a shot, and they were way too big for everyone. So we just took like a half of it, basically. So just shot. And then with the rest of it, my cousin's wife, Bobby, goes, well, let's just pour it in our beers. Huh. So she's just like, kind of giving it a little topper every now and then, pouring this mezcal in the beer.
Which makes sense. It's been done. You know, those coronitas, like those little, they put them in the top of the
floaters or whatnot.
Yeah, they do that. I get it.
So we do that, then we go down the water slide, and we're still drinking our beer mezcal mixes. And we start doing, there's these trails through the jungle, and there's like a cenote that you can like swim into, and there's not a zip line, it's a rope swing.
A rope swing.
Yeah, rope swing. And we get to the rope swing, and I go, and then my cousin goes, and we get to the end, and you got to swim out of it. Mm-hmm. So we get to the end, and I'm like, wherever everybody else go? We go back to the beginning, and y'all still there arguing because they wouldn't let my cousin's wife get on the rope swing.
Yeah,
she was too drunk.
The littlest, babiest rope swing ever. You literally just go wee and like right in the water. It's nothing like crazy about it. And he was like, no. Too intoxicated. She can't come. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and we all have life jackets on. It's like a rule to have a life jacket.
She's like a grown woman, and she, like, as far as I know, not wasted at that point. Nothing. We all had just walked there through the jungle. Like, what is the problem? We just want to get in the water. So, yeah, that was the first little.
So then we continue on through the paths, just walking through the jungle, and everyone's starting to straggle behind, and I turn around and look, and my cousin's wife is just like shit-faced. Like they were carrying her, and her feet weren't like helping. It's like when you're dragging someone's feet, like when they're getting kicked out of a concert or something. And
she
we're
was
like,
floating.
Holy shit, what happened? And yeah, she just got really drunk, and I assume it's probably from the mezcal.
Probably, or maybe the couple joints, or the other beers, or
combination,
pina coladas. Or,
but so, and the park was closing, so we had to get back to the entrance, and we ate another buffet, the third buffet of the day.
Buffet. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so you might as well get all your bang.
And I'm a little like, I'm not like hammered as everyone else is, but I'm pretty good. And the next thing I remember is getting out into the parking lot, and I look around, and everyone is just passed out on the sidewalk or like in the parking lot, just laying on the cement, like just bodies strewn about. So
we're waiting for our driver, and our one friend, Mary Lou's she's like texting back and forth with him. We're trying to figure out. And every time I look back too, there's one body on the ground, another body on the ground, everyone's just laying there like, waiting for this taxi driver, our van to come. And it was hilarious.
Yeah. So that was a day. And she said the next day, she's like, I don't even remember leaving that park.
No.
I'm like, I'm not surprised because we barely remember. It was a little fuzzy, but yeah, she was gone. So.
Normally I would say, wow, maybe you got roofied or something scary like that. But knowing our family, we were just having a good time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so then the following day, I believe we went to Isla Mujeres, right?
Yes.
So this island just kind of off the coast of Cancun. So it's about an hour north of us. So we decided to take the bus, the bus because the bus tickets were like, I think they're like $10 or something, right? Oh no, maybe they're even cheaper than that. Oh, they're $5 there, $10 back for some reason.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, but
because it's the park.
So we have to walk down to the bus station, and we get there maybe like 3 minutes before the bus is supposed to leave because the bus is always a couple minutes late.
Yeah.
So we get there.
We're hiking down 5th, from our place. So
yeah, so it's like a 15-minute walk, and we get to the bus, and we go in there, and I'm standing in line, and I show my ticket to the bus driver, and he goes, "Oh no, you're at the wrong station." I was like, "Oh my god!"
And usually we're like, as soon as someone says, "No, you're wrong," we're like, "No, look it again," because sometimes people tell us the wrong information, and then we're like, "What did you keep?" No, we were wrong.
Yeah, so I looked at, and it's the other station that's half the distance to our house, but it only typically goes to the airport. So I guess maybe it also goes to Cancun, like city center.
That must be new because we've never gone from that station.
Yeah.
From that station.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
So we're like, well, fuck. It's the bus leaves in 3 minutes. The other station was probably a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
Maybe 5-minute taxi ride. So I was like, we're not gonna do it. And then you go, well, let's try.
Let's try. Y'all are like, we're gonna miss it. We're gonna miss it. I'm like, let's go. It's Mexico. It might be late. We might get lucky. Always try. It's not that far. Let's get a taxi. I think your cousin was like, get in a cab and let's go. No one cared. We're throwing money at this cabbie. Like, let's go.
Yeah. So we take this taxi. We get over to the bus station. We're late, so I'm like, we ain't making it. And we go in there, and right when we're getting out of the taxi, we see our bus pull up.
Yep.
So we're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Just got there.
Hadn't even left yet. So we get on the bus, we make it, we ride up to Cancun. It's, like I said, it's about an hour. And we get off there at the bus station there. And then we have to take a taxi over to the coast.
Because it's quite a walk. We could have walked it, but it was going to
If it was you and I, we'd probably
walk.
but we had 6 people, and
Yeah.
so, and they're all hungry and everything. So we're like, all right, we're just going to take a taxi over there. So we take another taxi from the bus station to the ferry port, then wait there, get on the ferry. So then we take a ferry from Cancun over to Isla Mujeres, which was
lovely.
Yeah, it was like 25 minutes,
Yeah.
25 minutes.
Very short, very quick.
So we took a bus, 2 cabs, and a ferry just to get to this fucking island.
It was worth it.
And that was, and this was last Friday. So I was planning on doing my beer chug there.
Yeah.
And there is one brewery on the island. It's very small, way smaller than Cozumel. And I go to look at their Facebook to see what time they open, and I see a post from last week and says, "Oh, our tap room is closed. We're opening a beer garden soon, so we're switching over or whatever." And I'm like, of all of the fucking chances, so
Yeah.
I'm like, great. I don't have a beer. What am I going to do? So I messaged the brewery, and I was like, and it was Isla Mujeres Brewing. Or Isla Mujeres Brewing.
Isla Mujeres Brewing.
Yeah. And I message them. I say, hey, can we buy your beer anywhere else, on the island, like in a shop or
I
anything?
really like it.
And they said, no, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, it's only at the brewery and we're closed right now. But they said, but if you want to buy 12, then, I can meet you at the brewery and you can pick them up. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, we're doing that.
Perfecto. Couldn't work out any better.
Yeah. So we go, and Isla Mujeres, you normally, they do have some cars, but normally people would drive around on golf carts.
Yep.
So we rent a golf cart for the day, and drive our happy asses down to this brewery.
Yep.
And we get there, and a lady comes to the door. I didn't know who I was talking to on Facebook. There's some lady with a nice Southern accent.
Oh, yeah.
She's from South Carolina.
Yep. As soon as we walk in there, she's like, hey, y'all, how you doing? We're like, y'all? Haven't heard that in a minute here.
I thought she said Charleston, maybe, but
I'm pretty sure she said Charleston.
But we told her, we moved from Atlanta, yada yada yada, and she goes, "Oh, I got family in Atlanta. We're there pretty often.
Tons of family.
Small fucking world. One brewery on the island, and they all are Southerners."
I know. She said her and her husband had some businesses together, and they were just looking for something different. So that's pretty different. Open a brewery on an island in Mexico.
Fuck yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, and you could tell because they were like good. They were good beer. I mean, like they had a good variety of beers. They had like a pale ale, a lager. They had a double IPA, 7%, which was the one I chugged. And then what did I get you? I got you 2 seltzer.
The seltzer, the hibiscus seltzer.
Yeah, hibiscus.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
So good.
Which I've never seen a seltzer in a bottle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a beer bottle.
Yeah.
Very cool labeling, very colorful. They're going to be our new fave.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're ever on Isla Mujeres and you're looking for some good beers, go check out Isla Mujeres Brewing.
Yeah.
They're great.
They're going to have a beer garden. It's going to be awesome.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, so that was basically it this weekend. Oh, yeah, one last thing. The last night, some of my family, my cousins, were not feeling the greatest. And we're like, well, at least it was last night. Was lucky it was your last night. And they're like, okay, so I felt bad that they were going home not feeling a little under the weather, a little hot, just tired, sweaty, whatever.
It makes sense. We're worn down. We've been going nonstop.
Drinking for a week, basically, on and off. And
the guys were staying up till like 4 a.m. every night and then meeting us till at 7 a.m. for excursions and stuff, It's just a lot.
And you kind of were. Oh, actually, the last night at dinner, you didn't come out because you weren't feeling great either.
I felt like poop.
Yep.
Straight up
And so the day I think after they got home, messaged me and said, "Yeah, so we tested positive for COVID. If you guys want to maybe get a test?" I'm like, fuck. Not their fault, but just fuck in general. And you tested positive.
That makes sense why I didn't feel good and I was a little cranky.
And I haven't tested positive yet, but I'm not feeling the greatest, so it may be coming. But yeah, so never fun to be sick. Whatever you think about COVID, even if it's just a cold, it's not fun being sick. So fuck being sick. It's not a good time.
We've had it before. This is just like right now. It's worse than a cold.
Yeah,
worse than a normal cold.
It was really bad the first time because we had it before there was any type of treatment or vaccines or medicine or anything like that. So we just had the brunt of it and we were just miserable. Like I thought we were going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Which y'all probably remember, a few years ago on the radio show.
December 2020, I thought we were going to die.
Yeah. So this one hasn't been as bad, but still you're pretty miserable.
It's taking me down.
Just not fun.
Can't do my workouts. Can't have fun. I missed a good dinner. That's what makes me the most mad.
Yeah.
Missed some good steak.
Yeah. So we should be good, but, yeah, so it was a great week, though. Other than that,
I'm glad it was the end of the week.
Yeah.
It was a good week.
Always good to see the fam, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and get some listener questions. Lex, you want to grab the first one?
Yep, here we go. All right, listener questions. Our first question is from Brett B. Do you recommend getting travel insurance? Also, do you have Mexican health insurance? That's a good question, Brett.
Yes. I've never really got traveler's insurance until we went to Greece.
Right.
But the only reason and for all the times all places and times we've traveled, I've never got it. Yeah. But we only got it for Greece because of what happened to Jason in the Bahamas.
Yeah. Jason and his family had quite a rough time and they would have been in really big trouble if they didn't have that insurance.
Yeah. And if you remember, or if you didn't hear that episode, they brought one of their daughter's friends with. They went snorkeling or swimming or something, and she basically drowned.
Yeah.
And there was some doctor or something that brought her back to life. But the hospital or the medical system there is like real shady and kind of fucked up. And it cost him I thought it was like 15 or 20 grand out of pocket, or it would have if he didn't have travel insurance.
And even then, they were up front. He had to pony up the dough
ahead
of time.
You got to pay it up front.
Reimbursed.
Yeah, because they're and it's kind of similar in Mexico too. I think there's some. I think it's more of the private hospitals. I think the public hospitals might treat you, but oh no, maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah, I think it might be the other way around.
Well, regardless, he was super lucky that he had that insurance. And that would have been all out of pocket, but he got it all reimbursed as far as I know.
Yeah.
So
she's
I would
okay. Everything's fine. She's good.
So I would recommend it. If you're coming here, it's not even like you're worried that something terrible is going to happen, which you shouldn't be. But it's just shit happens.
Yeah.
You never know.
We've had friends fall off of curbs and break an arm. Just as simple as
exactly.
that.
Just
being
drunk and a dumbass.
Take a stumble. Or we have friends that weren't even drunk and took a stumble and got hurt, And then you don't get. We have our residency, so that's why when you hurt your hands, Nate, it didn't cost us as much as it would have. They let us know that it would have been, triple the amount. But so if you're coming here and you don't have your Mexican residency, probably is a good idea just in case.
Yeah. And to answer your second part of the question, Brett, do you have Mexican health insurance? We do not.
We do not.
It's kind of, it's like insurance in the U.S. It's it's kind of up to you. Do you?
Yeah.
Right now, since we're not elderly, most of the stuff that could happen are kind of catastrophe type things for us, at least. It's not, we're hopefully wouldn't have a stroke or something like that. But
Jesus.
If we were if we were older, I would say definitely, because more things you can have more complications with things, more something little could be turned into something big. So I would say, I'd probably look at it then. For right now, no, we don't have it, and the healthcare system's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of places here that we can afford to go easier and have preventative health care. We went to the dentist, the cleaning and checkups, only $40 out of pocket. I went and had a full blood panel done, and that was $200, but a full blood panel in the States, and I'm talking a full panel would have been, over $1,000 out of pocket. So we are doing our due diligence and keeping our preventative care up, but at the same time, we don't.
Yeah.
No Mexican health insurance for us.
No. So, but I mean, we'll probably, the longer we stay here, we'll probably look into it. It's probably something good to have just because the stuff we do, you know,
Yeah.
even luckily the thing with my hands wasn't super expensive, but what if you would have needed surgery or something?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what if I would have needed surgery or something
I'm
more?
always like, don't throw out options out there.
Yeah, it could have been a lot more. You never know. So, yeah, so that might be something that we look at getting in the future, you know, just in case.
For sure. We should. You're turning 40 soon, babe. I don't know. Better be careful.
Yep.
All right. Next question.
All right. Next one.
Do you guys rent a place there, and how much is rent utilities? Do you plan on buying down there? And that is from Jeremy R. Also a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, we rent. And we've talked about this before, so sorry if you're hearing this again. But yeah, we rent. Initially, when it's kind of funny. So when we first moved here, our rent was about $650. But since the peso has gotten stronger and the dollar has weakened, that gap is a little bit different. So actually our rent has gone up like $100 or $150 from doing literally nothing. Our rent hasn't gone up, just the exchange rate has changed. So what the same amount that we would have gotten for $600 or $650 is now like $750, $800.
Right.
So it's still pretty cheap, but we live in a studio, so we don't have a ton of room, but we also have a great location. We're right by the beach.
And we're not here a lot, so we don't mind the smaller space.
Yeah, totally. But if you live like on the other side of the highway, at least for where we were at, that's a little bit more local. You can find something way cheaper. You can get like $200-$300 a month if you want, but
super cheap.
But you're going to be kind of far away from things. So, yeah. So, and then as far as utilities, our electric, well, first of all, our internet and water are included, and those usually aren't too bad. They're actually pretty affordable. The thing that can get really expensive is electricity.
Yeah, with the AC and everything.
Yeah, if you rent, like a lot of people don't run the AC all the time. They'll just run it for a couple hours, maybe at night or whatever, or just certain times during the day, or certain months during the day. But our electricity ranges from like, it's been low as $5 to now it's about $35. But it's kind of a hard question because that's like asking somebody in the U.S. like, how much is electricity?
Yeah.
Well, if you live in a mansion, it's going to be probably a lot more than if you live in like a 1-bedroom apartment.
Do you have a newer AC? Do you have an old AC?
So if you lived here, that same deal. Like it's, if you have a bigger, like maybe a house with multiple rooms and bedrooms and stuff, you're going to have multiple AC units because they're kind of, I think they're all that mini split that you don't have like central air usually because everything's fucking cement.
It's all cinder blocks. Yeah.
So yeah, if you lived in a larger house, you'd probably be paying a lot more. Some people can pay $300-$400, depending on how much they run it, how much they don't. So it's all kind of relative.
Yeah. But I'm sure everybody's thinking $35 for your electric. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's why we don't mind living in a smaller space.
Yeah.
And if we can get some more subscribers, we can get a bigger place and get some Mexican health insurance. So tell your friends.
That would be great. Yes.
Yeah. And then do you plan on buying down there? We've talked about it. We've definitely
looked around.
Yeah, we've gone on some, I don't know. What do you call it?
Tours.
Yeah, tours,
Property
I guess.
tours.
Visits, whatever.
Yeah.
We looked at some different places, but it's hard because I don't know. We've never bought a place.
Yeah.
And we like to kind of move and travel around and stuff. So
we don't like to be stuck in one place too long.
Yeah. So I think if we're here for like 5 years or something, then we'll look a little bit more seriously. We were just kind of looking as maybe an investment type of property.
Yeah, like an Airbnb rental type of thing.
Yeah, like we rent either buy a place or rent a place and then rent out a spare room or something like that. We're just kind of looking
like a lock off or duplex type of deal, or when we're not here, rent it out,
But if you're looking at coming down and buying a place, there's tons of opportunities. There's so many buildings being built every day, and there's gated neighborhoods and houses and apartments and condos and just kind of a little bit of everything. So yeah, it's definitely a good place to buy. We just maybe don't feel like we're there yet.
Yeah, they're always building here, and there's every kind of like building or unit you could want. We've looked at a little more of the newer ones or nicer ones, I'll say, or we'll call them bougie. And they're just a little too much for us for the money and then for the stuff. We love our little 5-story building that we're in right now. We know everybody. There's only 25 doors in here. It's nice and calm and quiet. I feel like a bigger, more expansive location. It just wouldn't be us. It wouldn't feel like us.
Yeah. Yeah. So good question, Jeremy. All right. And the last one?
Last question is from Erica K. Do you guys miss having a car? I feel like I see you on every mode of public transportation possible down there. How is their public transit? Good eye, Erica.
Yeah. We do miss having a car.
Yeah.
I don't miss the gas and insurance and maintenance and oil changes and all that shit, or car payments if you don't own it outright.
Yeah.
So it's nice not having that. But I do miss, like, we have to take Tiger to the vet tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're either going to have to see if there's a friend available or take a taxi or, whatever.
We miss the convenience for sure.
Yeah. And we do miss having a car because there's a lot of places around here we want to explore, but on the audio bus, which is like their kind of public bus that runs up and down the highways. Yeah. So it's not
like a charter bus.
Yeah. It's like a Greyhound. It's like, it's not going to drive you around the city, but it'll take you up and down the coast or, wherever else.
Or for the Atlantans, what's the bus? The megabus?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like megabus. It's not driving around Atlanta.
No.
But so like that situation with the buses, we can't take Tiger on it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to travel around with a dog, and so we have to rent a car. So in that case, yeah, it would be nice to have a car, but then we also have to have a place to store it too, because we don't have parking or a garage or whatnot.
Our building doesn't.
But yeah, we do take, just like I was saying, getting into Isla Mujeres, we took 2 taxis, a bus, a ferry, and a golf cart.
Yeah.
To get there.
It's really funny that Erica asked that, because we just talked about that earlier, and then your family, your cousins that were here, literally said that every day. What are we taking today, Nate? A scooter, a donkey, a bus, a car, an airplane, a train, and everything.
We don't even notice it anymore.
We don't.
Like walking and to get to this bus and that bus. But yeah, the public transit is actually really good here.
So good and so cheap.
Yeah.
It's like super cheap.
And I may have mentioned this, but we take this other kind of city bus that's about 7 pesos. So it's 40 cents.
You can just ride up and down 30th and get dropped off anywhere.
And then they have these little vans called colectivos, the combis, and they run up and down the highway, and you can get up maybe like 40 minutes up the coast for $1 or $1.50 or something like that.
We've taken those, and they're hilarious. They're like tight little vans, and you're just stuck in there with everybody, and they're just flying.
Yeah, it's a 10-person van with maybe 15 people in
it,
so.
It's always playing fun music, and they go fast.
Yeah, but there's taxis everywhere. Obviously, like I said, there's ferries, there's companies that you can hire, like a driver if you want.
We rent those bikes. We take these BC Playa bikes everywhere, and like our annual membership fee is like $15 each.
Yeah, for our bikes
for the year.
And it's like any big city that has like the bike stations, and you can unlock it with like a QR code on the app, and then we can ride it and drop it off at any other station around the city. And yeah, like you were saying, it's $15 a year. Can't beat that. We don't have to worry about our bike getting stolen or anything like that. Yeah. But I will say also, in other parts of Mexico, there's Uber.
Yeah,
Mexico City and Cabo, there's Uber there, and it's super cheap. As we've said before,
we try and keep our transportation low because, we think, I'm going to take the bus instead of a taxi because it's cheaper, and then I, can spend that money elsewhere. So, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So that's about it. But
good
question, Erica.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, Lex, you ready for the Mexican slang of the day?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Tiger, you ready? Ready.
All right. The Mexican slang of the day is hueva.
Hueva. Is that like huevos?
Kind of.
No.
Hueva. So huevo is egg.
Eggs.
Yeah, right.
Eggies.
And so hueva it's a slang term. Actually, I looked the way I when just doing Google Translate, I looked at it and I never heard of this one. It comes up with roe, which is ROE, and that's another name for fish, like fish eggs.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why
like
that
sushi, like roe.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. But it says hueva is a term that expresses laziness and a state of being unwilling to do anything. It can also translate it as sloth.
Oh, love it. Hueva.
Yeah, hueva. Yeah, so you could say like Que hueva tengo. So you're saying, I'm so lazy. But I thought that was a good one. I wouldn't have guessed that it means lazy.
Yeah.
Because I think most people know huevo or huevos is eggs.
True.
So yeah, hueva.
So I could say tiger es hueva.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, that's about it for us today. And if you are listening, you're a subscriber. So
Woohoo.
we greatly appreciate it. And
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
yeah, and you probably have noticed that they're all going to be subscriber episodes from now on, since our contracts with our sponsors have ended in Atlanta, and we're just going to be doing subscription only, so commercial free unless Spotify throws in a commercial or something. But yeah, it'll be basically commercial free. So please tell your friends, family, anybody else that would you think would enjoy the show. And obviously, we got some good stuff coming up next week. We're going to be starting 2 new shows. Well, obviously, we're bringing back Top 3,
Woohoo.
which y'all know how that works. But this time, we're going to do it as teams. So it's going to be you and me, Lex,
Nice.
versus Brandon and August, and then I think Josh also.
Cool. Bring
So,
it.
yeah. So, and then and that will be on Thursdays. Tuesdays, we are going to be doing a new show called Hey, I Know That.
Say it again.
Yeah. Hey, I Know That.
I love it. Hey, I know that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be, we're gonna do something with Chat GPT where we're gonna ask it questions like describe this movie or this actor or whatever, and it's gonna give us clues of who it is. So maybe like you, Josh, August, and Brandon are all gonna guess,
Okay.
and so they'll have to guess like which one it is. So
Oh, I'm
yeah.
excited. It'll
Yeah,
be
so
fun.
it should be a fun game, and we'll be working that out. But that's all going to start next week, so stick around for that. Like I said, tell your friends to subscribe, and thank you so much for listening. Lex, you got anything before we get out?
Yeah, just thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Tiger appreciates it. We love seeing all your comments and everything. Just share our videos, share our stories, send it to friends, family, and just like it.
All right, well, thank you so much, and we will talk to you next week. Happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
Get off my lawn! It's old man Kevin, and the BS is done for right now.
Please share, like, and support podcastthebs.com.
Now, get out of here.